Well, we know Clive Davis to have the reputation of being a star maker, and just about every artist that he put his hands on, from Bette Midler to Janis Joplin, he had tremendous success. When you consider the lyrics, I can't stand this living all alone. How many of us have been alone and felt that way? Norman Connors was a producer who was quite prominent on the scene, and part of what he's best known for is identifying other talented artists and surrounding himself with those people.
Yes, this is the ghetto, y'all. Showing up now.
Donny Hathaway was a soul brother, no question about it. He had his fro, he wore his Apple Jacks, and then, oh my goodness, when he took to the piano, he glamorized the ghetto. He made it sexy. That to me is always the standard, is the next generation or the generation after that loving you to the point where they want to sample or cover your material. That's a testament to your enduring power and legacy. And everybody was like, well, are they a couple? What's going on? Is there a romance? Because to be able to sing a song like that, Fire and Desire, my goodness, if you weren't in love, you wanted to be in love. And if you didn't have somebody, you just wanted to grab the first person that came past you. The Supremes reigned supreme in the 60s. They were it. They were very elegant. Their look, their style, their personas, everything. It just worked in a way that was palatable to America at large. She was attempting to make a comeback in terms of her career and recording, and she was still beloved by many, many people. At the helm of the company, you had a visionary. Berry Gordy knew how to mine the talent that existed in Detroit. I believe they were so popular because they had catchy lyrics, strong melodies with Mary Wilson, Florence Ballard, and Diana Ross. It was a planetary alignment. Loving You was seductive and sweet and sexual and sensual message all at the same time. And it didn't have a lot of instrumentation, so it didn't detract from the beauty of her serene voice. Come to My Garden was ahead of its time. The work that Minnie Riperton did with Charles Stepney on that album, the arrangements, the lyrics. We'd never quite heard anything that blended opera and pop and rock and R&B and gospel. It is one of the sweetest pieces of music I have ever heard in my life. I never quite understood why Come to My Garden was not a bigger commercial success. At that time, it was a little bit of a taboo subject. I'd never heard of a female artist of any color having breast cancer. People know Black music. It is a universal language and influential force. When I went to Africa, to Ghana, I was walking on a beach in Accra, and I heard American hip-hop artists. So when the public looks at artists, they're getting cues on what the trends are. Music, fashion, there is a definitive marriage. When you go to Fashion Week in New York, you see artists modeling, and they want to have a fashion line. Sophia Fresh, they remind me of a modern-day LaBelle. They're very fashion-forward, funky, fresh, and inventive. I mean, just celebrate and acknowledge the music and the power that it is. I think Black music has a very bright future. I think the pendulum is going to swing in the direction of the past, and that people are going to work on creating timeless music that 20, 30, 40 years from now, folks will want to cover Roberta Flack. Her first album, First Take, it was eloquent, it was touching, it was supremely romantic. I remember seeing him one day and he was talking about Trey Songz, who was at the time a new signing. And Ahmet, when I say gave him accolades, he said that Trey Songz represented the next generation of black R&B singers.
Somewhere in June of 1979, Jimmy Carter had the first Black Music Month celebration at the White House.
And it was an exciting event because Chuck Berry was there, Andre Crouch. I mean, royalty of music was present that day, performing and also just in attendance. And since then, there's been a celebration of some sort around the United States and the globe. I think it's important to recognize the people behind the scenes as well as those on the microphone who have made substantial differences in people's lives. I think that it's going to continue to influence other genres of music and artists, and that black music will continue to reign supreme. I'm Dyana Williams, and I am black music. Michael Jackson, without question, in my opinion, artist, one of the most celebrated and accomplished entertainers in the history of performance. He embodied so many artists, from James Brown to all the legendary performers, but put it into his own style and touched millions. And I don't think that there has ever been an artist that has recorded and performed that has touched as many people on the planet as his passing. Even with Elvis. I mean, John Lennon's passing, George Harrison, yes, got to give it to them because the Beatles, I'm still a big fan of theirs. But Michael Jackson, you're right, we have not seen yet the level of grief and mourning and remembrance.
Well, I'm a journalist. I'm just back from Los Angeles. I was there.
Dyana was Teddy's friend. They were even neighbors for a while. And thank you so much for joining us this morning just to talk about this sensational man, this legend in the music industry.
Absolutely.
Now, sadly enough, you were there shortly after he passed away, just moments after. Can you talk to us about that?
I had become very close friends with his wife, Joan, and during Teddy's illness, I frequently went to the hospital just about every weekend, multiple times a month, to see him because he had been in intensive care. And his hospitalization at Bryn Mawr was about 8 months in total. So, and he died of respiratory failure. People have been reporting that colon cancer was the cause of death. That is not accurate. He had colon cancer. They operated, cancer had not spread, and then he developed respiratory issues, and that was the final cause of death.